How is all, and welcome back to another video. My name is Kevin and today we're doing another challenge video. This one was sent in by Anthony, so thanks very much about that. And it's pretty simple. We're basically not allowed to take any symbols that give one kind exactly. So is it possible? I think early game is definitely going to be tough. Cultists would be an easy win, I think. But yeah, if we get through the early game, I think it might be possible. A lot of the eaters, like Geologist, is actually much worse because we can't take ore or pearls. Diver, I think a lot of diver things don't give exactly one. They give like 4 every 5 turns or something like that. 5 every 4 turns, so that could be done. It's definitely going to be interesting. I have no idea how it's going to go. I suspect if we pass the early game or we get a lot of luck, if we get a lot of coals or something. Coals are the only ones there that I can actually pick. Could get something like this. At least here I can take 3-sided dice, which is pretty decent. That'll at least probably guarantee that we survive the first rent payment. So here I could take a snail because it gives 1.25 on average. Here I could take a crow. So maybe a build with checkered flag and a lot of slots. That could be pretty decent. We made the 25 rent payment with 7 left over, 50 due in 5 spins. Also, what's the wolf one? Quigley the wolf will definitely help. I'll take a sapphire here. We're just gonna bring up the average. And I could take adoption paper. There's not a lot of these I'd want. It's really only worth it once if I picked up checkered flag. Actually, adoption paper might be much better, so I'll take it, and if I pick up checkered flag I'll use it, but otherwise I won't bother. So out of these we can't take any of these. Let's skip. Okay, 17. We should make the next rent payment. I can take an anchor because it gives like 1.5 on average. 1.8, sorry. Hex of Midas. I could take Hex of Midas, but I'm not going to. I think you'd only take that if you had the item that makes kinds better. I could pick up an owl. How many empty symbols? 9 empty symbols. I will pick up an owl. Okay, so we did make the 50 rent payment with 23 left over. We're doing alright at the moment. I'll pick up a rain and I'll pick up a lucky cat, I guess. Unfortunately, we can't pick up another cat. I'm not sure about crab. I don't know whether crab counts. I guess no. I probably could pick up crab, or I could pick up magpie. It's definitely one of these challenges where I'm going to have to figure out the rules as I go along. I'll take a cultist because that provides my best chance at getting some really good scaling in here. I'll take another 3-sided dice. Okay, I will skip all these. Okay, here I skip all of these. How are we doing? We will make the 100 rent payments with 23 left over. 150 now due in 6 spins. Let's pick up a big urn, I think, and let's pick up small symbol bomb or looting glove. We don't really, I mean, looting glove is okay, but nothing special. This 5-sided dice is fantastic. Can't pick up any of these, unfortunately. So let's skip. Suits build is completely worthless in this challenge, actually. Let's take a void creature. How are we doing? 30 per turn. That's not too bad. I don't think we can take Hex of Hoarding. We could take a Matrushka doll though. Give 0 will eventually scale. It's pretty decent. Let's take a Chemical 7. Okay, we'll have our first and probably only diamond coming in here soon. So hopefully that will enable us. We'll definitely make the next rent payment. We could take a present. Do we have any empty symbols? We have 1. Let's skip it. Okay, and we made the 150 rent payment with 29 left over. Another 5-sided dice is fantastic, and here we could take can't pick up a monkey because it gives 1. Let's take a X-ray machine, and we'll keep our removals for a bit longer. It's kind of about now though that I'm afraid the scaling will fall off a bit. We could take a wine, gives 2, and let's remove something that only gives 1, like this pearl. Okay, maybe with all these 5-sided dice we might be able to survive long enough. Let's skip all of these. Okay, 34 per turn. We should make the next rent payment. Let's skip all these. Okay, we've got a 2 kind Matryoshka doll. Hex of Tedium is interesting, but will only really be of help with the cultists. Everything else we want is higher, so I don't think it's a good idea. I will take a Tedium capsule though. And let's remove something else that only gives 1. Let's remove this cherry. Okay, 50 on that turn, that's not so bad. Let's skip all these. 29, much worse. Again, we don't want any of these. I'm really hoping to get a lucky capsule and some kind of rare symbol I can work around. We did make the 225 rent payment with 62 left over. 300 is now due in 7 spins. I'll take another rain, and I will take Maxwell the Bear, I guess. How's our inventory? 20 symbols. Okay. What did we get? 34. 34 by 6 is 180. We'll be close. Let's take a coal for some late game scaling, and let's remove this kind. I should probably just remove this cultist actually and accept that that's not going to happen. Another 5-sided dice is great, so let's take that and remove the cultist. With some lucky rolls on these dice. 36, 4 spins at 36, we should probably make rent if we get that. Okay, we got a better Matryoshka doll, that's a great help. 43 spins, yeah, it's looking good so far. Let's skip this. Okay, what are we doing? 40 on that spin. We could take a big ore. Don't particularly want to though. We don't have any removal tokens, so it's not like we could take a 2 kind symbol and remove something worse. We again could take a ninja, but I'm going to skip. And I think on this rent payment I'm definitely going to have to use my rerolls for something that's at least worth 3. If we get 308 spins is about 40, so if we get 40 per spin we will survive. Another flower, no, another 5-sided dice I think is pretty good. And we do have an urn, so let's take a grave robber. If we could get the item that, what is it, lucky dice that makes dice all roll their max, this would be an easy win I think. Let's skip this. Okay, we 6 spins to get 230, so we still need about 40 per spin, which we are getting I think. It's a bit inconsistent, but yeah, 57 on that spin, that's pretty good. There's our second cultist, but unfortunately we've moved away from that now. I think actually most challenges would be easily complete with cultist, so I'm not that fussed that we're not doing it. Bronze arrow should be good on average. Didn't help on that spin, however. Let's skip this. It's the problem with relying on bronze arrows. Not that we really are. We should make this anyway. We could do with 1 or 2 decent spins. 58, that's definitely a big help, and we've actually already made rent. That's great. Okay, we could do with a bit more scaling now on this rare. So we made the 350 rent payment with 37 left over. 425 now due in 8 spins. Beehive would be, yeah, Beehive's pretty good because honey's pretty good, so let's take it. Quigley the wolf is okay if we get wolves. Lefty the rabbit is not great for us. Let's take Quigley the wolf. Let's open up adoption papers, see if we get any wolves. There's 1. There's a dog, but he does give 2 unfortunately. We could take a cow, is worth 3, and let's skip this. Okay, let's take out 2 of our worst symbols, which are, this is worth 1.8, this is worth 1.3. This is only worth 1, but we do now have a cow. This is worth like 1.25, and this is worth like 1.25. Let's take out the magpie and the snail. Maybe with those two tree kind symbols and our new diamond, which we should be getting soon, we might be able to do something. Let's re-roll, and removal capsule is perfect. Okay, if we get 50 per turn, we will make it. Let's take a chemical 7. Let's remove, what's our worst? This is worth, it gives 5 every 4 spins, so like 1.25, which I think is the worst item that we have. Flower occasionally is worth 2. Let's take out the crow. Okay, decent hit there on the arrow. 56, we are on track. Do we have anything that the farmer buffs other than the flower? Does he buff? No. No, we don't. Let's re-roll. Perhaps we might get something better. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. We could get another rain. It's worth 2 on average, which is better than a few of our symbols, but I don't think it's good enough. Okay, decent hit there in the arrow. 46, that's not fantastic. We could pick up a bear. It is worth 3. Let's do it. We might get lucky with a honey and a bear, maybe. 51, 3 spins. We are still almost exactly on track. Okay, that'll definitely help, that second diamond. 55, that's great. That should put us over the, just over the line for making the next rent payment. 50, very close. Can I afford another coal? Will it scale enough? I think I'll have to skip. I don't think I can afford the coal pushing out a diamond or something. Not great hits on these arrows, but we did make the 425 rent payment with 13 left over. 575 now due in 9 spins. Geologist, we don't have anything to feed the geologist, but a geologist is pretty fast. We can, well, we have 1 sapphire, so the only thing we can pick up are big ores for him, but we'll take him anyway. Here, anthropology degree is pretty good. That'll give me 1 extra per turn with the geologist, so not fantastic, but okay. There goes our sapphire straight away. That's great. He's giving us 4, definitely worth taking. Let's pick up a lucky capsule. Okay, the cat is drinking up. 57. Say we get optimistically 60 per turn. 60, that's 420. That's 5. That's not enough. We need to get more than 60 per turn. And even 60 was an optimistic number. Let's pick up a dame. That could definitely help. Okay, I don't think I can afford another coal. Do I not want another wolf? At this stage I kind of want removals. We need a good hit on the dame with a diamond. Do I want a rabbit fluff? Let's take a wealthy capsule instead. Okay, 63 spins to get just over 200, 220. We need about 70 per turn. It's unlikely unless we get a very lucky dame and diamond turn. That one's not 265. Even that turn we didn't make it, unfortunately. And I think it looks unlikely unless everything comes together. 58. Okay, so not too bad. We definitely had potential there. It was a tough challenge, but we got a lot of 5-sided dice. That was great. Just didn't quite get the scaling. Got a geologist a bit too late. We just had a few too many symbols. I think I might have picked up some in the beginning that were just because to pick up something, but they weren't great. They were only worth like 1.25 on average. So I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to maybe not pick up as many bad symbols. Of course, if we get a cultist, that's a good hit straight away. We could die really quickly here. I've changed my mind on what the rules are slightly, just to clarify. I'm just going to go off this gives 1. So stuff like the anchor I've decided is no longer allowed because it gives 1 and then it's got the added, just to simplify matters. The only difference it makes is like anchor, I think, or crab. So crab is now out, and yeah, it just makes the challenge a bit easier to keep track of. Anyway, I think we may die here. Picking up the cultist and then 2 turns where we had to skip is just instant death. So I feel like there's a few of these that might not make the first rent payment. I've skipped 2 of these unless we get like 3 2s from now on. I have to pick up the snail, but it's not going to help us. Yeah, I think this is another one that's not going to get off the ground. I suppose we were probably a bit lucky there on the first one that we did get off the ground. Okay, let's take a cultist, I guess. The other 2 don't really help us. Maybe if we get a second cultist really quick. Bubble definitely helps. That means we should probably make our first rent payment. Second cultist definitely helps. Here we skip all these. Okay, so at least we've made our first rent payment with 6 left over, which is pretty not bad. 50 now due in 5 spins. I'm going to take the big ore over the bronze arrow. I just think we need the consistency, and I'm going to take quickly the wolf. If I could fill the deck with wolves, that would definitely win us the game. Have to skip all of them. 9 per turn. We'll skip all of these. If we need to pick up something, this isn't going to be fast enough, but we will pick it up. We just need to pick up one more thing. That cultist might put us over the edge to make the next rent payment, and it does. 53. We made the 50 rent payment with 3 left over. We're not doing very good. We need a lucky capsule, I think, and grave robber, I think, could definitely help. Okay, 20 per turn. If we keep that up, we will make rent, so not too bad. Definitely with this beehive, maybe a few honeys. Honeys are worth 3, so we can just fill the deck with them. It's not so bad. Another cultist. Okay, this run is looking like it could be a win. Let's skip all this. I'm going to not pick up symbols that are only worth like 1.25 or something. So let's not try and fill too much of our deck, because I feel if we get loads of honeys, we get loads of wolves, we get loads of cultists, we don't want the deck too big. I will take a bronze arrow though, and coin on a string is pretty good. It's worth 1 per turn, and it removes all kinds, so it's a removal for us. It means we can also pick up Hex Midas and King Midas, those kind of things. Let's skip all. Let's just pick up a present, just because we have empties. It's technically better than nothing, though not by much. Let's take a coal as well. Okay, another cultist is really good, giving us 5 per turn now. That should definitely get us pretty far into the late game. 6 per turn, and at this stage I think I'm pretty confident that we're going to win this challenge. I don't need a coconut half. Let's skip. We do have 2 removals as well. 46, we made the 150 rent payment and we're well ahead at the moment. 109 left over. 225 due in 7 spins. Let's pick up a target, and let's pick up treasure map, I guess. Alright, 55 per spin at the moment. We'll take a void creature. Just roll in and give us cash. Let's pick up another coal for the late game. Okay, 50 per spin. We could pick up a Hex of Hoarding, but could make it a bit awkward. We might then be forced to pick something, which is a bit not great. Let's take a wolf. Just another symbol that's worth 3. Well, actually our first symbol that's worth 3. Let's skip this. And there we have a honey. That's fantastic. We could pick up a rabbit fluff, but I'm not really that interested. Let's skip. Let's remove one of our bad symbols, like the flower. Okay, 67 that turn. Yeah, we're very close to already making the final rent payment. We made the 225 rent payment with 280 left over, so we're doing fantastic at the moment. 300 now due in 7 spins. I'll just pick up a void stone there, and I'll pick up Pizza the Cat, I guess. Just worth 1 per spin. Okay, we could again Hex of Hoarding, we'll skip. And here we'll skip this as well. We're gonna skip most things unless they're worth at least 3 or they tie into our plan. Like I would probably pick up a bear just to keep the deck relatively light. Void creature, of course, pretty decent. Should be getting our first diamond fairly soon. That'll definitely help. That'll probably push us over the 70 on average. Actually, 87 on that turn. That's great. Let's take a lucky capsule. Okay, and we made the 300 rent payment with 409 left over. We're just doing fantastic at the moment. We could take a ruby or a golden egg. Let's re-roll for perhaps something better, like a silver arrow. And Zarf's contract is okay. We could take a guillotine that will enable us to pick up billionaires. Okay, 65 on that turn. A treasure chest. Problem with that is we've no real way of picking up a key, so we'll skip it. We'd have to get this key hitting both items, which is unlikely to say the least. Okay, we'll just take a void fruit and let's remove this and a cherry. Probably should have removed the pearl before the cherry, but there you go. Okay, 97. Let's take a lucky capsule. And here we could take a diver. How many of these? We could pick up a snail. We could pick up a turtle. No, 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 and no. So just scaling him on snails and turtles. Yeah, let's do it. It is worth 2, so we only need to get 1 or 2 into him to make it worth it, but I feel like that's unlikely. On the other hand, there's a snail straight away. And eaten straight away. And also eat. We must have had a symbol actually already in the deck, so picking up the diver was already worth it. 2 arrows, one of them doing much better than the other one. Another cultist is of course fantastic. And we now have 2 diamonds in play, which means we're getting about 100 per turn. So we've already won this one. Let's just go through the motions. And I guess take a moon because we do have a wolf. And another cultist. Yeah. This is bananas actually. This is approaching the most amount of cultists I've ever had. Let's take out, we do have a white stone. Let's take out this cat. Well, it is worth 2, I guess. Let's take out this big ore. Some way of getting rid of honey wouldn't go amiss. 154 on that spin. Let's skip. So the only thing I need to focus on here is not accidentally picking up something that's worth 1 and throwing the run that way. It's definitely happened on a few of the challenges recently, and always a frustrating end to a run because it never happens on runs where you're like, oh, it's close, or you're thinking you might lose. It's always runs where it's kind of like this one, it's in the bag and all you're doing is kind of going through the motions. And you switch on to autopilot and then you're like, ah, no, I've picked something which in a usual run is generally good, but not in a challenge. But we did make that rent payment with 1265 left over, 575 now due in 9 spins. We could pick up a lucky cat, I guess. Don't really particularly want the luck, so let's just take one of these random ones. We did a lucky capsule. We might as well use our rerolls and see what we get out of the lucky capsule. Whether we get anything useful. Magic key is actually pretty useful. Let's break our treasure map. So we can now pick up the next chest we see. Let's skip this. Okay, let's skip this. Let's start using our removals on everything that is not worth 3, like this cat. And actually, now we've got to start thinking, what do we want to remove? Let's bronze arrow probably is still worth it. Beehive, let's get rid of the beehive so it doesn't fill up our deck with more honeys. 178, I'll just take a void creature. How many symbols do we have? We have, okay, 20 symbols exactly once the void creature's gone. That's not too bad. And 96 per turn. Let's skip because taking a snail there for the diver. Probably should have. Okay, let's skip this. Doesn't really matter, like we've already won this game. We're just going through the motions here. Let me know in comments, in the comments actually, on runs like this where we are, what, rent payment 8 and we've clearly already won. Could take a Hexamitis. Would you prefer if I just finished out the run, or would you be like, oh, you'd be better off starting a new run? Because I'm always curious, especially with these challenges where I'm like, the challenge is pretty much over. Would you rather if I started a new run and maybe didn't pick cultists, because they do make challenges. Most challenges are pretty easy if you get a good cultist run going. There's very few that, with the exception of the antisocial challenge where you couldn't pick up faces. Obviously that doesn't work out. I could pick up a generous. I actually can't because he only gives one. So yeah, let me know, would you rather if I finish out the run, or would you rather if I ended it and gave the challenge another try, if it was really obvious that the challenge had been won, like. Okay, and we're just skipping everything. And skip. I think I was offered, it may not have been this run, but there was definitely one of the runs where I was offered a comfy pillow, and let's remove that just to get back down to 20 symbols. I was offered comfy pillow, and I wouldn't mind having it now just so there's one less spin in the middle of each rent payment. Hexatedium, if I was worried, I'd probably take that. Just boost the chances of seeing cultists. But at this stage, I'm pretty much going to skip everything. Made a 625 rent payment with 2,344 left over. Decent. Let's see if we get anything. A sun. We don't have any flour left. Let's skip. I mean, take a capsule machine. We could have picked up a dame there and removed some more honeys maybe. But at this stage we can do whatever we want. Giant cultist hit here. 48 just from one cultist with 2 arrows. Okay, let's skip this. And yeah, we'll just keep on skipping. At this stage, the thinking is pretty much done. We must pick up something to get rid of this magic key at some stage. Another coal. A bit late in the run for that. Alright, and skip that. Picked up Quigley the Wolf as our first item. I really thought we might be kind of molding our deck around Quigley the Wolf. Just pick up a load of wolves. Bit harder since you can't pick up dogs. But yeah, as it turned out, not needed whatsoever. So yeah, if you try this challenge, I think a very easy way of winning. Definitely the first run was more interesting, but a very easy way of winning, as with most challenges, is just re-roll until you're offered a load of cultists. We are on the final rent payment, but we are clearly going to make it. We'll just take looting glove, I guess. There's a possibility we might use this magic key for something. I wonder, does the bonus from looting glove and magic key, is it calculated before? Like, is looting glove calculated after magic key? I suppose if it's a multiplicative, it doesn't matter when it's calculated actually, does it? So if the chest gave 10 kinds and it did looting glove and then magic key, it would be 20 and then 30. And if it did magic key and then looting glove, it would be 15 and then 30. Oh yeah, so it doesn't make any difference. So because yeah, things which are calculated oh, can't say that word, just not happening today. But if you calculate multiples, it doesn't matter what order they're in. I'll take a wealthy capsule, and I've just been completely and utterly paying no attention to the skips, just skipping everything while I was trying to figure out that. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that little ramble while we had our last rent payment spins. Hopefully I didn't skip anything like a bear or a cultist or something, but it didn't really matter. We made the 777 rent payment with 3,882 left over. This time the landlord was made into soup. This challenge, quite an interesting challenge actually. I might rerun it again and try it without cultists, because obviously once I got 3 or 4 very early on, and once I got the 5th one I was like, yeah, pick up a bronze arrow and kind of just things to support it was big help. And Quigley the Wolf didn't end up being as useful as I thought. What was it? Where is it? The beehive? The beehive was pretty good though. Picked that up pretty early on. So yeah, very interesting challenge. I'd suggest suggest giving it a go. you're going to probably lose a lot on the first rent payment or two, because you could be in a situation where you just have to skip all 5 symbols that are offered. And even if you skip 2 or 3, I think if you skip 3, you just can't make rent unless you get like a 3 coin per turn symbol. But yeah, very interesting challenge. Thanks again to Anthony for sending it in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow with another regular Floor 9 run. And yeah, don't forget to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, and cheers for now.